What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis, including money, investing, the stock market, the fourth stimulus package update, and stimulus check update. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. I will keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country. The FDA warns of more food products made with recalled peanut butter due to salmonella risk. That's right, check this out.
Major recall of one of the most popular supermarket products. Certain batches of Jif peanut butter are being recalled over salmonella fears. Will Reeves back with the information you need to know. Good morning again, Will.
Hey, good morning, Michael. Peanut butter is a pantry staple, so take note of which brand you've got in yours, because the J.M. Smucker Company has voluntarily recalled some of its Jif peanut butter after 14 people in 12 states have gotten sick, including 2 who were hospitalized, according to the CDC, because the peanut butter may be contaminated with salmonella. That's a bacteria. It can contaminate food. It falls under the general term food poisoning, and you'll know if you have it. The products in question have these lot code numbers. Those numbers are printed under the best if used by label, and the FDA says you should throw yours out right away if you have any of these possibly contaminated products. J.M. Smucker, in a statement announcing the voluntary recall, apologized for the concern this will cause. It certainly will.
So if you have, yet again, any of this peanut butter, throw it away or take it back to the store for a refund. Yeah, it's just unbelievable how this just continues to happen. And this comes as, with the new inflation reports that just came out, you could see here the cost for food has hit double-digit increases. Yeah, for the first time in 40 years. Yeah. How do you even explain this to people that already don't have money for this type of increases? Yeah, you can see here grocery shoppers are experiencing sticker shock at the supermarket, with year-over-year food prices edging up more than 10% in May, according to Friday's CPI, Consumer Price Index report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That's the highest food cost index since 1981. That's when I was born. That's a long time. Yeah. Inflation scorched in May, with the overall cost of inflation at 8.6%. That's the highest yet. Core inflation, which does not include the price of food or the price of gas and energy, is 6%, which really shows you where the highest inflation is. Gas prices, food prices, the things that we have to buy. Things that we're forced to buy. I mean, we can't go without food, can't go without gas. And the other one that's really hitting hard is the price of rent. Rents are skyrocketing as well here across the U.S. Yeah, the cost of food at home or groceries increased 1.4% from April alone and was the 5th consecutive increase. Grocery prices were up 12% year over year and reflect the largest 12-month increase in 43 years. Yikes. Eggs rose 5% in May alone and are up 32% from a year ago. This stuff is unbelievable. There was also no break in food away from home or eating out, which increased more than 7% for the last 12 months, the largest increase since November 1981. 1981 must have been a bad year for inflation as well, right? Yeah, and as you can see here, quote, the numbers are catastrophically bad. Top economists are sounding the alarm on inflation. And well, here's what the president has to say. You let me know your thoughts on this. Check this out.
Toes used to run the laborers out union. Look, folks, today I'd like to speak about my top economic priority, fighting inflation. I understand Americans are anxious, and they're anxious for good reason. I was raised in a household when the price of gasoline rose precipitously. It was the discussion at the table. It made a difference when food prices went up. But we've never seen anything like Putin's tax on both food and gas. America should also understand our economy has unique strengths that we can build on. The job market is the strongest it's been since World War II, notwithstanding the inflation. We added another 390,000 jobs last month, 8,700,000 new jobs since I took office. An all-time record, never that many jobs in that period of time. Unemployment rate is near historic lows. Millions of Americans are moving up to better jobs and better pay. And since I took office, families are carrying less debt on average in America. They have more savings than they've had. And we're doing it all while cutting the federal deficit by $1.7 trillion this year and $320 billion last. If I hear one of my MAGA friends once again talk about debt and deficits, I'm going to be good. They increased the deficit by $2 trillion. Anyway, that's another story. But look, this is the largest decline in American history. Because of the progress, America can tackle inflation from a position of strength unlike any other country in the world, because every country in the world is getting a big bite and piece of this inflation, worse than we are in the vast majority of countries around the world. But make no mistake about it. I understand inflation is a real challenge to American families. Today's inflation report confirmed what Americans already know. Putin's price hike is hitting America hard. Gas prices at the pump, energy and food prices account for half of the monthly price increases since May. Inflation outside of energy and food, what the economists call core inflation, moderated the last 2 months. Not enough, but it moderated. It's come down. We need it to come down much more quickly. My administration is going to continue to do everything we can to lower the prices to the American people, and the Congress has to act, and they have been of late. One of the key ways to fight inflation is by lowering the cost of moving goods through the supply chain. When I first started talking about the supply chain, when I came here well over a year ago, the American people understandably wondered, supply chain, well, I mean, that's not a usual part of their jargon every day. But they understand it fully now. They understand it. If you can't get the material needed to build a product you're building, whether it's an automobile or whatever it is, it makes it difficult to be able to move. And that's called the supply chain. That's why I've been focused on ports. Last fall, ports around the world were congested due to disruptions caused by the pandemic. So we brought together port operators, shipping companies, and labor, and to ease the bottlenecks. And as a result, over the holidays last, 97% of all the packages were delivered on time and on shelves when you went Christmas shopping. Remember, we weren't going to have anything on those shelves. You all did it. No, not a joke. You did it. On time with minimal delays. Delivery times are actually quicker than they were before the pandemic. And today, there are about 40% fewer containers clogging the docks for long periods of time than there were last November. This May was the strongest month in the Port of Los Angeles' history, the strongest month in its history. And we're helping fund improvements. Because of what my friends in the Congress have done, we passed the infrastructure bill, and we're funding major new initiatives on the docks, on dock rail systems. Port of Long Beach has moved goods more quickly. A port electrification, so communications near the ports can be, and communities can breathe cleaner air because they're using electric machines that are not generating using gas, coal, etc. And we're continuing to expand capacity of our ports thanks to the bipartisan infrastructure law. Look, this is a time we took a different approach also to trucking. Remember, last December, we brought together industry and labor to tackle problems facing truck drivers. It took we had to double the number of commercial driver licenses being issued by the states in order to speed things up. We did it. We sped the creation and registration of apprenticeships, allowing aspiring drivers to earn while they were learning. The result? We hit a record-setting employment of trucking earlier this year. And truckers' wages went up even after accounting for inflation. We're going to keep at it with the new super chain envoy, General Steve Lyons. General Lyons is a four-star general. He handled the transportation of a little bit of thing. He had transportation command, only tens of millions of billions of tons of things to move, from little things like tanks and aircraft and all that. But all kidding aside, he's come off the sidelines. He's retired. He's helped us identify and get ahead of the challenges that arise at our ports, our railroads.
Yeah, so he goes on for a while there, but you can see, there's a lot of things to work on here when it comes to inflation. You let me know your thoughts here. The president's approval rating is at an all-time low right now. When it comes to his approval rating for inflation, it's even lower. So yeah, yeah, yeah. It's yeah. If I was president right now, it's a tough thing right now because it's not just like flick a switch and turn it on. I mean, even the oil companies, the oil Chevron CEO said he doesn't think they're ever going to build a refinery in the United States ever again. They don't want to ramp up supply in the U.S. So because that would lower the price of gas. So I mean, it, it's really not an easy thing. I mean, the whole drill baby drill thing. The gas companies don't want to drill. They want to keep prices high because they've tripled their profits over last year. They don't want to build any refineries because they're raking in the dough. So they haven't built a new refinery in the United States since the 1970s, in 50 years. So it's the double talk, right? Talking out of both sides of your mouth. The gas and oil companies will blame whoever they can. In this case, it's President Biden. Say, oh, it's his fault for the gas companies, and meanwhile they've made triple the amount of profits that they made last year, and they haven't built a refinery in over 50 years, and they're just gas just they're just charging us whatever they want, right? They're like, oh yeah, and you hear their stockholder meetings, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna do triple the amount of buybacks. We're doing 30 some $billion in stockholder buybacks for different companies, 300% more profits than last year. And then they're like, oh yeah, we'll just blame it on whoever, right? And then they're laughing all the way to the banks. And it's just like, what do you do? Yeah, it's just like they know exactly what they're doing, right? They got all the money in the world. They don't want to increase supply. They don't really want to. In fact, they even said that they're not going to increase supply. They said this to their shareholders. You can look it up in their shareholder meetings. They're public information. And of course, gas is really just one piece of the puzzle. Gas prices, food prices, another one. A supply chain issue, all these things. So it's really a tough situation here. Yeah. Let me know your thoughts here in the comments. And the thing going forward, you also have Congress as well. Yeah, and we have all these states. States are actually doing a pretty good job here of giving back to the people right now. We see all these different states passing state stimulus checks, state stimulus packages here, rebate checks and gas tax pausing. And let me know your thoughts here on that. Of course, it really depends on the state you're in. But I think we're going to see a lot more of that coming here forward. And kind of being the devil's advocate here. I know it's not really the best choice of words here, but as we get closer to election time, I think we're going to see more and more kind of get done, as crazy as that sounds. Remember, we have that big food assistance conference, the SNAP assistance conference coming. I think we're probably going to see student loan forgiveness, and maybe we'll see a large stimulus check on the potentially maybe the federal level, and we're definitely going to see the state levels. We're seeing a lot of those here as well. So really, a lot of different things here, a lot of different things, and really, the more people we can see help for, the better, because it's really hard to keep inflation down. It's hard to make people produce more, companies produce more. It's hard to make companies lower their prices because it's It's just a difficult thing to do, right? Just say, hey, lower your prices. And the companies are like, no, we don't want to. Yeah, good luck, right? So I'll keep you up to date here with everything. Let me know your thoughts here in the comments. This inflation is just out of control. And yeah. So make sure to subscribe down below. New videos come out here every day, 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll see if Congress or the president is what they're gonna do about it here. You can click here to see my newest video next, and you can click here to see my newest stimulus check video that I just released here. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.